وبالأمس يستقبل رئيس الحكومة الإسرائيلية حكومة العدو الإسرائيلي ويرفع العلم الإسرائيلي في داخل المدن التركية التي كانت تعد الخلافة الإسلامية الكبيرة الطويلة العريضة.
Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan wants to fully normalize ties with Saudi Arabia. He swanned off to Saudi Arabia with the hope of extending economic and bilateral ties and halting the Saudi boycott of Turkey. The biggest question on everyone's lips, especially the Arabs of the region right now, is whether the powerful Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is ready to forgive Erdogan for blaming MBS for the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. Also, whether Erdogan is prepared to close the file on the murdered journalist. In welcoming Erdogan, the Saudi kingdom didn't change their ceremony that they gave Erdogan back in 2017. Erdogan was received by the Emir of Mecca, Khalid al-Faisal. It was only on day 2 Prince Mohammed bin Salman went out to receive his guest at the airport. This tells us two things. Firstly, it was Erdogan who initiated the meeting, and secondly, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman doesn't really regard Erdogan as an important figure, because if he did, the powerful Crown Prince would have received Erdogan on the first day, as he did with the Emir of Qatar, Tamim bin Hamad, after the dispute and boycott moves between Qatar and Saudi Arabia. What's remarkable about Erdogan's visit to Saudi Arabia is that he was received by the King Salman, the custodian of the two holy mosques. It was interesting to see King Salman appear out of nowhere. Many were speculating that he was on his deathbed. Some rumours were circulating on social media saying that the Saudi king had died, as he disappeared from view on several important occasions, most notably the Al-Ula summit, the Gulf summit, and the reception of French President Emmanuel Macron. However, King Salman is very much alive. He returned in front of cameras when Erdogan was out in Saudi Arabia. Some people interpreted King Salman's guest appearance to receive Erdogan due to making a point that Saudi Arabia is still the leader of the Sunni Muslim world, as the Saudi king is the custodian of the two holy mosques. Questions are being raised as to whether the improvement of relations between the Turks and Saudis will push for military cooperation between the two countries, and whether Turkey can help Saudi Arabia in its war on the people of Yemen, and whether Erdogan is prepared to sell the Bayraktar drones to the Saudis. One thing we can all agree on about this entire trip is, for the dreamers of the Ottoman Empire out there, it's certainly not coming back anytime soon. Erdogan has basically began to abandon the Muslim Brotherhood version of political Islam and return to the policy of zero problems with all countries. He's looking to normalize ties with Egypt as well as Israel, and all this has happened due to the Turkish lira and the terrible Turkish economy. And it's very likely that if Erdogan does stay in power after the 2023 elections and manages to win and then fully normalize ties with Israel, he will most likely play a mediator in normalizing relations between Saudi Arabia and the Israeli occupational state. Erdogan loves making money and is ready to sell Islam and his own Muslim Brotherhood fanatics. Erdogan has always dreamed of a flood of Gulf money flowing into the Turkish economy by attracting wealthy Gulf countries to invest in his country. But after he overthrows their rulers and installs Muslim Brotherhood regimes in their capitals. But today, my friends, everything has changed.
That's based on the Wahhabi dark ideology. Actually, let's say it's a marriage between the Wahhabi and the political system for 200 years now. That's how we look at it.
And what is their connection to ISIS?
The same ideology, the same background.
So ISIS and Saudi Arabia are one and the same?
The same ideology, yes.
Same ideology.
Ideology, it's Wahhabi ideology. Their ideology is based on the books of the Wahhabi in Saudi Arabia.
So you believe that all Wahhabis have the same ideology as ISIS?
Exactly. Definitely. And that's known by ISIS, by Al-Qaeda, by Al-Nusra. It's not something we discover or we try to promote. It's very, their books, they use the same books to indoctrinate the people. The
How about
Wahhabi
Turkey?
Turkey, let's say, is about Erdogan, his Muslim Brotherhood fanatics.
And
Doesn't mean that he's a member, but he's a fanatic.
President Erdogan is?
He's a Muslim Brotherhood fanatic. And he's somebody who's suffering from political megalomania, and you think that he's becoming the Sultan of the new era, of the 21st century.
You think he could stop the border if he wanted to?
Yeah, of course, definitely. He doesn't only ignore the terrorists from coming to Syria, he supports them logistically and militarily, directly.
If Erdogan does decide to sell Bayraktar drones to Saudi Arabia to support the Saudi invasion in Yemen, it may lead to tensions in the kingdom's relations with Iran, which began to improve after the fifth round of negotiation sessions between Saudi Arabia and Iran, which took place a few days ago in Baghdad. Erdogan's visit to Saudi Arabia strengthened the position of the Saudi crown prince, the de facto ruler of the country, and weakened Erdogan's position among his allies who support the ideology of Muslim Brotherhood in the Arab region, as well as his bogus ideology of returning and rebuilding the Ottoman Empire. My dear friends, all this Islamic talk by Erdogan has just been a recruitment drive to recruit terrorists in Syria. Erdogan is an opportunist. He'll use religion for political gain, and that's all it boils down to. Take for example how he was so brotherly with Imran Khan. It's no secret that the Saudis and Emiratis cooperated with the US and the United Kingdom to overthrow Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan, and Erdogan didn't utter a word. In fact, Erdogan abandoned his brother Imran Khan immediately and called Shehbaz Sharif, who replaced Khan, and congratulated him on assuming power in Pakistan. Many Pakistanis view Shehbaz Sharif as a puppet of the West who's been imported in order to disturb Afghanistan, cause issues with the Taliban, as well as with Iran, China and Russia. My dear friends, this is the age of truth versus lies. Hypocrites pretend, they flatter, they deceive because they live with a mask over their faces. But today, the mask is falling and all is out in the open.